culture is. And on an independent film like this, clearly you didn't do it for the money on a $400,000 budget. And so I'm curious, and I've seen some interviews with you, but I'm curious if you just go down the line and tell me what was it about the script that made you want to do it? I know you knew the director and the writer, right, from film school, but what drew you to doing this thing?
Well, for me, I mean, it all began back in 2001 with the short film Peluca. If you guys aren't familiar with that, check out the DVD if you still have it, or the special features online. But it was the short film that we shot back in 2001. That's where it started, because it started with like a 7-page short that Jared Hess, who wrote and directed the feature and the short, came to me. We were in school, and I don't think I've ever had a perfect harmonious blend between an actor and a director before. When he gave it to me and I read it, I was like, yep, this is me and my brothers growing up. He says, yeah, this is me and my brothers growing up, and we started talking about our past. And for him, this is like so, I mean, everything in the movie is basically just lifted straight out of his life and his brother's life. And for me, it's more like the character traits and the quirks and just the attitude was me. And I was like, I mean, when I read the script, I was like, oh, this is sweet. I was like, oh, wait. And so we just kind of started exploring. It was really fun because in the beginning, we just kind of workshopped the character. I was there before he had, I mean, it was like, I think a week later after I said yes to doing the short film, that his wife said, let's give you a perm, or let's get you some moon boots. And every day was something new to add to this character until we shot the short, and there he was. And so when it came time, and I was the only one from the movie who was in the short, so like, it was about a year and a half later when Jared was like, we're gonna do a feature of this, you ready? I was like, I got nothing else to do, sweet. And so that's when that's when these guys got involved, and you can tell your story. But I was super excited because me and Aaron Rule, who plays Kip, we're the only two who were friends of the director, but never really acted before. We had done little bits, but we were all in the same school. But other than that, they had to go to LA, the magical land of LA, and cast legit actors.
That's how we got on board.
You were an Ealing student.
I was working on a show called Ealing Students that I think I said earlier. I had, when an actor gets an audition, right, they give you pages from the script to audition to read for. So I had read some of the scenes with Pedro Sanchez and Napoleon Dynamite, and I thought, wow, this is weird. So I didn't know until, so I went to my father's closet, and I wore his clothes, and I went to the audition, and then I remember at the callbacks, the director said, okay, a little slower, a little slower, a little slower. And I'm like, well, okay, sure. So I ended up getting the job, and I was like, okay. And I wasn't so sure again until until I got to the set and I met John Heder, who was dressed sort of like Napoleon, and he was like, hey, Pedro. Hello, Napoleon. So
and we touched tips.
And then it became something else. But you know, when I got the script, there's so many different scenes that I had never read in a script before, like the time machine or Lau killing the cow.
You hadn't read the whole script.
Yeah,
you only read parts.
I only read little pieces because it was hard to get the script, and then when I got it, and I thought, like, whoa, what is this?
So, a testament to his smart decision making. He was offered a big Hollywood movie at the same time, and he had to weigh between the two because there was an overlap, and smartly he chose this one.
Can you say what the other one was?
Yeah, the other one was The Alamo.
Sure.
Yeah, so it was a big Disney picture, and I was like,
big failure.
And my manager at the time said, wanted me to do
You made the right choice.
You know, they were like, okay, you're gonna do this big feature film, and you know, you're gonna go to Texas, and I go, no, I want to do Pedro. And then they go, come to the office tomorrow. I go, okay, cool. I'm thinking about signing contracts. And I take the bus. I didn't have a car, so I take the bus, into Santa Monica, and I go to their office, and they go have seats. So I sit down. And I'm thinking, all right, this is gonna be big. They go into the room and they grab my headshots and my resumes, and they're like, well, it's good working with you, and we're gonna, part ways now. Because I chose Napoleon Dynamite.
Really?
And they said, but it was good. Thank you for being with us. Maybe next time.
Yeah,
So
their rejection was God's protection.
Yeah.
You did better off because of it.
So and after Napoleon Dynamite, they called me back. They're like,
course, yes.
hey!
I wondered that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He took
I'm-
the photos like, see ya.
I know I'm very glad that he chose the movie, and I think that it shows. It's amazing.
He was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna go with Napoleon. I can be the one featured Mexican in that movie."
Like a bunch of them in the Alamo.
Just get washed away, but here.
Wow. What about you, John? Now you were auditioning for something else, right? Is this what I understood? Have you heard about
no.
this? No?
I quit acting. I had finished doing a series,
Shocked right now.
a series for 4 years called The Pretender, and I called my agents and I said, I'm done. I'm writing. I'm done. And she said, Susan Smith, and she said, I respect that. Go do it. Do what you feel you need to do. And so a casting director, Jory Whites, called me up, and he was like, where the fuck have you been? I can't find you. And he called me at home. He got my number, and he was doing a film called The Big Empty with Jon Favreau and Kelsey Grammer and Daryl Hannah, and an actor had fallen out. And he called me and said, come, look, I heard that you jumped ship, but please come and do this movie. So I went and did it. And it was fun, and it turned out okay. And then lo and behold, he got involved with Napoleon, and he got the offices from The Big Empty, the editing offices, because the movie was almost cut. So he got the office for Napoleon to use as a casting office, because they didn't even have an office in LA. And so they made some offers to a few people who will remain unmentioned, and they turned it down. And then Jory just said, hey, why don't we just take a look at this footage of this guy in this movie? And they said, let's just make an offer. And they sent me the script. And my manager was like, don't do this. Don't do this. Who are these people? Don't do this. That full-on just dismissive. And I was like, did you read the script? No, I don't need to. So I was like, send the script. I'm going to read it. They had no money. I don't care. I'm going to read it. So I read it. And by page 15, I was laughing out loud. And I was like, I called him up. I said, you tell him I'll drive there. I'll drive there. So I drove to Preston.
So a lot of films in history have become these cult classics, right? They throw this term around. But this, to me, part of what makes this so bizarre is it really kind of became a cult classic immediately, right? I mean, usually you see okay numbers, and then something happens, and it's like, okay, this is really something. But you guys,
I don't think it became a classic. I mean, the first 6 weeks that the movie was out, it was not doing that well.
It was only in like 3 theaters when it first came out.
But
So they're like, these numbers aren't adding up.
They were rolling out little by little.
they're rolling
Week
out
six,
really guerrilla, right? Really slow.
It was a very different rollout. It
Yes.
was, I mean, it's rare you'll see that anymore nowadays, but where we came out in June of 2004, and we were still in like most regular theaters, like November, even early December of the same year, because each city, each theater would like have it, and they started knowing it was really, instead of like mass marketing, everybody goes see a movie opening weekend. It was all the kind of loner weirdos who would go see it first, who were willing to take a chance.
Who are the trendsetters?
Or we heard about a lot of them were just mistakes. They walked into the wrong theater, and they're like, what? This is not Mission Impossible 2. And
What is
they
the
would not watch
documentary?
it. But, so it was very few people people in the beginning, but then you guys were awesome. Like they go and they tell their friends or their family, and they're like, "You guys see this," and then they bring them back, and then those would like it was the butterfly effect, or it was just started rippling, and they go more and more and just exponentially bigger. And so I think theaters were like, we always have the same amount of people in the theater every week because it's always just new people who are just now hearing about it.
So also, you know, the way distribution works in a movie is that the first 2 weeks, a very large portion of the revenue from a box office goes to the studio. But as a film stays in the theater longer, the scale slides towards the exhibitor, towards the theater. So that's why a lot of films end up, you know, not lasting in a theater that long because there's just, you know, they don't earn that much money, or, you know, but for the theaters to keep it there, then on the other hand, the studio wants to pull it out because they're watching the scale slide towards the exhibitors, you know. So it just was amazing that they just kept it. They just kept it there.
Right, and you also had a ton of merchandise out of it. I mean, merchandise was a big part of this. This became a real...
You know, we didn't see any of that.
Well,
You saw the merchandise.
We saw the Funko Pops, right? The little dolls, the action figures, the chonies.
Yeah, there was girls' underwear. They literally had everything. They had talking everything.
Hey Joe, can you sign this? No.
That's your mom right there? Sorry, I'm not gonna touch this.
At one point, they were Fox was thinking about how to create the Pedros, which were quite like Fruit Loop cereal. Like days
It's like now they have rap candy bars, you know, rap star candy bars, right? You know, the rap stars.
Oh, that's right. So yeah. But the studios will go as far as they can with the merchandise. Why not?
yeah. So do you think, when you were making it, I mean, obviously something about it, for you, you mentioned that it resonated for you in the family side, and some of that sibling angst that was there, and how humorous it was when you look back on that. Was that something that, were you surprised by that? Are you surprised that 16 years later we're sitting in a theater on a Sunday night with 500 people talking about this movie? Does this surprise you?
Not anymore. I mean, not saying now, like not anymore now, because it's been the entire time, every year or every day, it just feels like it just keeps going. I mean, you know, rewind to right before the movie got released, I would have been surprised. We truly thought, I think we all feel the same way when we were shooting the movie. I mean, the vibe on the set was, we all love this. We're all here because we love it. The cast, the crew. But I think the one thing that was for sure was the uncertainty that this would ever be seen by anyone. Because it was an independent film. We didn't have Fox Searchlight attached.
Short of a film festival, we never.
Yeah, we were just like, okay, we know we're making this, and we know they can edit it and do all that. But then once they're done, who's going to see it? So we were very lucky and blessed that it got into Sundance, which was a huge film festival, and that's where everything kind of went uphill or down. I mean,
Well, we saw the first time we walked into that Eccles screening room. There was a line down the block. I mean, everybody was talking about the film, and we were kind of in our own bubble when we got there. Remember, we were all kind of hanging out in those little condominiums.
And that's another thing too. Even like for instance, when we talk about the Sundance Film Festival, we were kind of promoting it ourselves. We had little buttons that said "Vote for Pedro."
We were walking around the streets. You know, that's what you do there. It's a film festival.
Come watch the movie.
But we didn't know that it had this buzz that was somehow circulating underneath, because all we were doing is putting up little posters, you know, and walking into the lunch nets and going, "Does anybody want to come see this film?"
So I'm kind of the opinion, and you're welcome to disagree with me at any time, but I feel like things like Little Miss Sunshine and Juno and some of these other films that would come out after that kind of it followed that mindset. And if we're saying it largely from a standpoint of the way it's edited, I mean, there are I was reminded even tonight as we were watching, how there's a lot of air in this. There's a lot of quiet in the track.
hot air.
Hot. Yes. Mouth breathing. There's a lot of that. But it seems like that, and I also am interested in hearing from you about how the film is really clean by 21st century comedy standards. There's no language, there's no nudity.
Beautifully crafted as well. And just to like head you off at the past, like 99% scripted. Like there's very, very little improvisation in that movie.
I was curious about that.
That was part of the thing I think that drew us all to the screenplay. It was so beautifully written.
So, John, you indicated that you were a part of that evolution of Napoleon, with the director and the writer. So, your characters, Uncle Rico and Pedro, these were strongly defined characters when you signed on. These you didn't have a lot of improv on it.
The characters themselves in the film are very honest and very true to their exploration of the world of Napoleon Dynamite. And that's what makes the film so great, is because you don't really need special effects to add the comedy. You don't really have to have a gimmick or something that could be some form of shock so that it can be so surprising. I mean, reality is surprising in itself already.
But one thing, our physicality and our rhythms were not written into the screenplay.
Sure,
That's what we, obviously, that's part of our job. I mean,
right.